Okay, let's start with the okay. Am I audible? And are the screen? Can you see the slides? Good morning, Rahul. My question is that are you able to see the screen? And also, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So let's. Uh, okay. So I assume that you are able to hear me and also uh, see the screen. Okay, let's. So what exactly this is? So we can uh, consider the atmosphere. So what do you mean by atmosphere? Which is nothing but simply a blanket of the air that surrounds the earth. So I will now, which is having around, or it reaches over 560 kilometers from the surface of the earth. It always absorbs the energy from the sun, recycles water and other chemicals, and protects us from the energy, right, and some other things. Then, as far as Earth system is concerned, there are three different things you can always consider: atmosphere, hydrosphere, and geosphere. And obviously, here there is a biosphere that you can uh, consider. So, herein you do have the biosphere, which is these are the internally connected you can consider. Right? So, the composition of the year, uh, composition of the atmosphere, which is containing the nitrogen around 78%, oxygen around 21%, and remaining 1% you can have all other gases containing argon and the some of the greenhouse gases, right? And obviously the list of these gases, keep in mind: carbon dioxide, neon, helium, methane, krypton, nitrous oxide, hydrogen, and ozone. So all these are in the 1%. We have also seen that what exactly the pressure means, the force per unit area. And Rushikesh sir, will you make Avishkar mute? Thank you. So pressure, atmospheric pressure you can consider, which can be defined as the force per unit area, which will be exerted into the surface by the weight. So here you can see the crowding of the gas molecules, density of the gas molecules, or the molecules, and the density of the molecules at this particular layer. So because of less density, the pressure exerted would be the less, and because of the highest density, the pressure exerted would be the more. So that is what you have considered. The same thing by another example, if you consider, right? So the person at this particular bottom, as far as as far as the sea level is concerned, you will be experiencing a weight of a car. Then this is the important thing, that if you go up from the bottom of the sea level, or from the sea level up to the altitude in the environment, then the pressure will vary smoothly from the Earth's surface to the top of the mesosphere, you can consider. So herein you can have a very large pressure around 1000 millibars, and if you go up in this way, so you will be finding out, obviously we usually see this particular object, right? So in this way you can have the increase in the altitude as well as decrease in the pressure. So at say zero altitude, or nearby zero altitude, you will be experiencing around thousands of 1000 millibar pressure. If you are at 16th of altitude at this particular point, you will be at the most experiencing 400, right? And at say 28 or 32 or beyond 22, you will be experiencing around 200 of millibar pressure. So that is what you will be having, pressure variation, right? It varies smoothly from Earth's surface to the top of the mesosphere, you can consider. Then there were different ways by which you can measure pressure. So very first one, the instrument which you are going to use to measure the pressure is known as a barometer. And there are two ways you can consider. So long back, or uh, initially the mercury barometers were used, but mercury is poisonous. So if any of the accident get happened, then it would be difficult. So nowadays Android barometers, and obviously some of the electronic barometers are being used. So this is the point which we are really concerned to know in detail. So basically four layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere, which is also called as ionosphere. So these are the four layers which we do have, and I think we have started looking into this particular layer, which is the very first one, or the lowest or the bottom layer of the atmosphere, so called the troposphere. Now this troposphere, which is thinnest layer, having around 16 kilometers width at equator, and which will further reduce down to 8 kilometers as far as poles is concerned. So you can see here, so around the equator you will be having 16 kilometers, and at the poles you will be having around 8 kilometers, right? Which is the bottom layer of the atmosphere, stretches about 11 kilometers. You can in fact stretch it down. In fact, what I'm saying, it is as far as the boundaries you may consider. The most important parameter of this one is temperature decreases with altitude, right? Temperature decreases with the altitude, where most of the weather conditions happen. So whatever the weather conditions or weather we are having, so that most of that weather is being formed in this particular layer. It has vertically occurrence, which are turbulent in nature. It is containing more than 75% of the year. Whatever may be the year contains, you do have, that would be the obviously mostly N2 and O2, because already we know the composition of the year. Right? So 90% of the atmosphere's mass is in this particular phase, or in this particular layer, that is in the troposphere. The boundaries between the troposphere, the boundary between troposphere and stratosphere. After troposphere, there will be stratosphere. So the boundary between these two is called as tropopause. Right? It is called as tropopause. And herein you can see, so this is the layer for troposphere, and this particular dotted line, right, very first boundary in between troposphere and stratosphere is tropopause. Fine. That is what we have in the troposphere. Next, or the second layer of the atmosphere is stratosphere. So as far as stratosphere is concerned, as I said, it is a second layer you do have in the atmosphere, which can be experienced about 50 kilometers with a it has a horizontal air currents. So in earlier case you have vertical, right? Here you have horizontal air currents. Again, its temperature increases, right? I think there it was decreases with the altitude. Here it increases with the altitude. It contains ozone layer with the upper ions, right? Or you can consider, as far as this particular layer is concerned, there is the presence of ozone layer. And how much this ozone layer is important, we do have a separate time sharing for this one. Fine. But I have clubbed this particular point along with this one. So probably you will be having one or two slides related to the importance of ozone layer. Now, most of the planes travel in this particular region. So whatever we can consider. So most of the planes travel in this particular region. It is containing about 24% of the year. So 75% by the troposphere and 24% by the stratosphere. So these are the features which you can always keep in mind as far as troposphere is concerned. So second layer are found around 50 kilometers, having horizontal air currents. Its temperature increases as you go with the altitude. It contains ozone layer. Most of the planes travel in this particular sphere and in this region, and it forms 24% of the year. Now it can be extended from 10 kilometer to 50 kilometer above the ground, as I said, right? So that is what you do consider. Fine. It is less dense. Now less dense in what regard? Right. Less dense कोणाच्या comparison मध्ये? It is less dense as far as the first layer is concerned. So whatever we have seen, the troposphere, which is which is forming most of the atmosphere, right? 75% is nothing but the most of, and having small amount of say sharing, right? At the most you can see 16 kilometers at the most. In fact, in general you can have around 11 kilometers. Here in it is from that 11 kilometer to 50 kilometers. As I said yesterday, there are no sharp boundaries. Fine. So you will be finding out something mixed with this one, something mixed with another region likewise. So within this much region, you have very less composition, around 24%. So obviously it would be the less dense. Its upper boundary, That is boundary between this layer and the next one, that is mesosphere. Right. So boundary between the troposphere and mesosphere is called as stratosphere. Right. It is called as stratopause. So upper boundary is known as stratopause. So here you can see you have your stratosphere and mesosphere, and in between these two there is a boundary called stratopause. And here you do have the presence of ozone layer. No doubt some ozone layer is also present in this particular region, but complete region of stratosphere is being acquired by the ozone layer. So you can have here the ozone layer. Now, as far as ozone layer is concerned, so very first time there had been a largest hole found in this ozone layer, which was the largest hole ever observed, and that was observed in 2006 from Antarctica. From Antarctica. Now, what are the consequences of having hole in the ozone layer, or having a thick ozone layer, or having a thin ozone layer? So consequences of each of these are different, because it will be harmful or very serious if you could have greatest holes. So as far as scientist notice is concerned, so in 1970s, the ozone layer in the stratosphere was found thinning. Right. So day by day, its layer is getting decreased. So it is become thin and thin and thinner and thinner and thinner. Right. So that was very first observation in 1970s. Again, that had been at Antarctica. Then people started knowing the reason which is making the ozone layer thinner. Why the ozone layer is becoming thin? So it was found that there had been a group of chemicals. In fact, today also we do have this group of chemicals. So that group of chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons. Wherein we find this? So we found it, or which is commonly used in the air conditioners. Today also we are using air conditioners. In aerosol spray cans, we are also having spray cans, as well as for cleaning machine parts. Only thing is that we can have the restriction, or rather people started restricting this particular point, right? Or restricted the use of these particular compositions, or let's say as far as this particular part is concerned, right? So this chlorofluorocarbon CFCs is the great concern in thinning the ozone layer. I will tell you the importance of ozone layer so that you will understand the consequence of becoming thinning, or a consequence of the ozone layer becoming thin. Fine. So how adverse it will affect. So herein you do have. So here we are, and here the atmosphere which is containing, or particularly I will tell you about the stratosphere, which is having a thick layer of ozone, or ozone's thick layer. And obviously sun is radiating all kinds of radiations. In fact, you do have visible, you do have infrared, you do have ultraviolet. So infrared to certain extent and ultraviolet are very harmful as far as the human or the animals, or the human life is concerned. So if this particular layer become thin and thinner, then very easily these rays will penetrate and they will reach to the earth. Even we are having some sort of reaching of these particular rays as far as the earth surface is concerned. So there had been a decision which was according to London Agreement passed in 1991, that more than 90 countries banned the production and use of CFCs, except a limited use, because it has to be used in the medical field. It has to be used in the field of medicine or in the medical uses. So that much is okay. But using for let's say aerosol spray cans or for cleaning machine parts, you can avoid these things. You can go for alternative. Even you can also reduce or bring down the use of the air conditioners as well, so that you will radiate as much as less, right? Again, if you consider your refrigerators, right, so that is what you do have in the reducing or in strengthening the thinning of sorry, in strengthening the ozone layer, and obviously reducing it from becoming thin and thin, right? Now, what this particular chlorofluorocarbon is doing, so this particular uh, CFC, right, is affecting the ozone layer. So as far as ozone layer is concerned, ozone layer always absorbs sun's high energy radiations, ultraviolet radiations, and it protects the human life or the animals on the earth by absorbing these particular radiations, which are really harmful. Some are very severe. Right? So that is what you can consider. So ozone layer always absorbs the sun's high energy radiations, and that is important. You can uh, pay the attention to these things. Now, as I said, it is okay. Yes. So what will happen? And this is the graphical representation you can have. So how the ozone layer is protecting the earth or the human life, right? I'm greatly concerned with the human life by the exposure to these radiations. So ozone layer protects earth from ultraviolet light. So you can have here the radiation of ultraviolet rays or energy from sun, and most of it get absorbed by ozone layer. Most of it will get absorbed by ozone layer, and very few will come down, that to be in a minimized manner, right? So someone might be thinking that, sir, why it should come down? It should not come down. Obviously, ideally it should not come down. But whatever the factors which are damaging to this ozone layer, we are still using them. Then how ozone layer will completely block these radiations? Right? Suppose what will happen if you replace this ozone layer with the help of oxygen? Though ozone layer is nothing but the combination of oxygen, but it is O3. If you consider oxygen, say O2 or simply O. So oxygen is not able to absorb or restrict the penetration of these ultraviolet rays. And you can just consider how much ultraviolet rays will reach to the earth and how much severely they will cause the damage to the human life on the earth. So more and more ultraviolet radiations will be sent to the surface of the earth, and because of that, uh, most of the animals, human life on the earth will get affected by this. How? If you have damage or serious damage to the ozone layer. So what we can do in this? So as far as stratosphere is concerned, the chlorofluorocarbons break down and release the chlorine. Right. So obviously it goes, whatever may be the emergence of these gases or these composition. So it will get radiated into, or it will get travel into atmosphere, wherein it will come into contact with the oxygen. There will be the chemical reaction, and obviously it will be separating the chlorine, and it will be forming some oxides. So that's what you will be again coming across these things, and because of that you will have another consequence, that is nothing but the acid rain. And how it is going to affect, that we will see shortly. But CFCs will have chemical reactions and break down themselves and release the chlorine, and which is not good sign. So the chlorine reacts with ozone molecules, which normally blocking the incoming radiation from the sun, right? Particularly ultraviolet radiation. If it starts, CFC starts to react with the ozone molecules, so obviously it will separate out some of the oxygens from ozone layer, and it will be forming some other oxides. It will separate out chlorine as well, and it will, in fact, it is damaging the ozone layer. Right. So this is the importance of ozone layer and how it is being affected by this particular reason, and why 1991's London Agreement is important. Right. Obviously, the studies in 1970s have channelized the people, channelized the countries in this regard, and they have come to a common decision. Another thing, another explanation. So here you do have ozone layer, and very few radiations are coming down, which are called ultraviolet radiations, in presence of very thick ozone layer. So the ozone layer will, in that case, ozone layer will protect the earth from ultraviolet light. But with the emergence of chlorofluorocarbons, it is going to have reaction with the ozone layer, and it will start depleting ozone layer. So in this way, CFCs will reach to ozone layer, have reactions, and it will destroy the ozone layer. And as a consequence of that, if ozone layer get depleted or ozone layer get destroyed, then more and more ultraviolet rays will come down to the earth, and which is very harmful. So these are the three consequences we need to understand, why this is important, why we should reduce these things, and if we could not do, then what could be the serious consequences, right? Already so many people started having the cancer, and this will be one more cause, or the greatest cause of the cancer will be there as far as the human life is concerned. Fine. And this would be the worldwide scenario you can consider. Fine. Now this is I'm limiting myself as far as ozone layer is concerned. We can see a lot in that particular case, but our approach is to see it through the point of view of stratosphere. So why is stratosphere, or how stratosphere is important for us? That is the point you can always keep in mind. Next layer, or the third layer, is mesosphere, which is third layer of the atmosphere. It found up to 80 kilometers. The temperature decreases as like in the very first region with the altitude. It is the coldest layer. It is the coldest layer. You can consider, if you start to go up and up in this region, so you will be finding out decrease in the temperature, and as a consequence of, here you can have the coldest layer. So its temperature is as much as less, so that you can feel it as a coldest one. And obviously it is much less than whatever the first and second layers are having the temperature. So because of that, it is again relatively coldest, wherein you will be having most of the meteors, right? What is meteors? Burning of meteors is what? Ulkapat, barabar? So that is what which is happening in this particular region. So most of the जे काही उल्कापात घडतं ते सगळं ह्या region मध्ये घडतं. So most of the meteors burn up in this particular region, and that is what this region is, right? So this is what mesosphere. So the boundary between mesosphere and thermosphere is the mesopause, right? So you can have boundary between thermosphere and mesosphere, which you can term as the mesopause. Fine. That is what you are having in this particular sphere or in this particular layer of the atmosphere. Fine. Now, last, in fact, fourth one, I will not dare to say last, though there were only four in the layers of atmosphere, right? One more is there which we can consider anyway. So the fourth layer is thermosphere, which is also called as ionosphere. So it is the fourth layer of the atmosphere, which found about 1,000 kilometers. हे बघा, हे जे आकडे नाही, हे 100 किलोमीटर, 11 किलोमीटर, 50 किलोमीटर, 100 किलोमीटर, 1000 किलोमीटर, right? These will give you only the idea. These will give you only the idea. These are not exact, right? Or you should not have you should not worry with these numbers, right? This is only for your sake of easiness. So this particular layer is termed as the hottest layer. One is the coldest one. This is the hottest one. Why it is called hottest and why it is called ionosphere, right? So because of presence of these, so due to ions, right, H plus and He negative. So helium, hydrogen ions and helium ions, which are directly absorbing the sun's radiations. And because of that, and most of the ions are present in this region, right, which are these two ions, which are directly absorbing the sun's radiation. And because of that, it becomes as much as hot, right? So you can consider the hottest layer, right? So that's what you can consider. Fine. Now, in this case, again, what will happen if you go with the altitude? Then in this one, in this region or in this sphere, if you go with the altitude, if you go with upper and upper and upper of this region, then you will find out increase in the temperature. So temperature increases drastically. And that is the reason why you can call it as hottest. But this is very important as far as communication is concerned. So whatever the satellites we do have, so all these satellites are revolving in this particular region, right? You can consider. So where radio waves are being reflected. Right? So here in this particular, as far as satellite communication is concerned, this is important. So this is what you do have. So thermosphere, right? Or it is also called as the ionosphere. Now, if you see its boundaries, if you consider the boundary of ozone layer, so ozone layer is not only in the stratosphere, ozone layer is also available in the mesosphere. That means mesosphere is only having ozone layer? No, mesosphere is also having ions. So obviously the concentration, as much as concentration of these ions in this region is great as compared to its presence in this region. Still, you can have the ions presence in mesosphere as well. Even little bit it is going down to the stratosphere, and it is. Right? So obviously, altogether, if you consider the atmosphere, you will be having these things, and how you can separate out them for your easiness of understanding related to these four different layers. Fine. So keep in mind thermosphere, mesosphere, stratosphere, troposphere, and what they deal with. Right? What they deal with, and then the boundaries between these four: tropopause, stratopause, mesopause. Presence of ions, presence of ozone layer, consequence of reducing or thinning ozone layer, and presence of or the effect of presence of ions, right? And then two things you can always keep in mind: the air composition and the temperature. So here temperature increases, here it decreases, here it again you can have decrease in temperature, right? That's why it become coldest one, and here again you go up, then you will find that temperature increases far and far. And ultimately you do have, see, at that in one of the slides I said around 1000 kilometers, and here I have said only 300 kilometers, right? So this is what you will be uh, keeping in mind, that yes, this is for our easiness, right? So there are no strict boundaries, there are no strict areas that you will be considering, right? So temperature graph. Now layers of atmosphere, right? In this, as I said, there will be the fifth layer, which is called exosphere. After thermosphere you will be having exosphere. Okay. Apart from one more point I could have told you, apart from